main Sutra program is a proper coaching program which will be taught by selected officers, of which I am one. This is a hacker course. This is a no-nonsense hacker course. A disproportionate number of people should be selected in the interview. They should get disproportionate marks. If you are a repeater, you will get a 50% scholarship. No questions asked.
Nirnay IAS by officers for future officers.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to this video. This video is completely raw, completely real, no nonsense, stream of consciousness of what is happening. I will talk about the UPSC mains exam and I will be very ruthless in my analysis. मैं इसको ऐसे अप्रोच करूंगा जैसे मैं एग्जाम दे रहा होता. मेरी एज निकल चुकी है, कांट गिव द एग्जाम, बट मेन मेरा फेवरेट पार्ट था. मुझे लगता है यूपीएससी जब रिक्रूट करता है, जब वो एक्चुअली रिक्रूटमेंट फेज में आते हैं, दैट इज द मेन एग्जाम, बिकॉज द क्वालिटी ऑफ द क्वेश्चंस ऑलवेज रिफ्लेक्ट्स दैट लेवल एंड दैट डेप्थ. आप नोटिस करोगे क्वेश्चन में कुछ पैटर्न्स. बहुत साल जॉब करने के बाद, सर्विस करने के बाद यही रियलाइज हुआ कि ये एग्जाम इट इज नॉट एक्सीडेंटल, देयर इज अ रीजन फॉर दिस पैटर्न एंड दैट रीजन बिकम्स अपैरेंट ओनली लेटर व्हेन यू रियलाइज कि ये जो 150-250 वर्ड्स की वर्ड लिमिट के क्वेश्चन हमसे लिखवाते थे और उस टाइप के क्वेश्चन पूछते थे जिनका कोई क्लियर कट सिलेबस नहीं है, दैट आर सो एप्लीकेशन बेस्ड, दैट आर सो मच अबाउट द प्रॉब्लम ऑफ द कंट्री, दैट सीम टू actually be made by joint secretary type people sitting in a department or sitting in a ministry. It seems they are so directly recruiting in the mains exam that the patterns are obvious. बहुत सारी चीजें predictable हो जाती हैं जब आप ये चीज समझ लेते हो. तो मुझे तो खैर समझने में बहुत देर लगी. जब मैं एस्पिरेंट था तो मैं ये नहीं समझता. I had not understood this. Now I have, and I will be sharing exactly what that is. आप GS1 का पेपर देने जाते अगर लास्ट ईयर, तो आपको ऐसा पेपर दिखता. पहले के एक दो क्वेश्चन देखते हैं. अंडरलाइन द चेंजेस इन द फील्ड्स ऑफ सोसाइटी एंड इकोनॉमी फ्रॉम द ऋग वैदिक टू द लेटर वैदिक पीरियड. एंशिएंट इंडिया का क्वेश्चन है. सो फार सो गुड. आगे चलते हैं. एस्टिमेट द कंट्रीब्यूशन ऑफ द पल्लवास ऑफ कांची फॉर द डेवलपमेंट ऑफ आर्ट एंड लिटरेचर ऑफ साउथ इंडिया. ओके, दिस इज द टाइप ऑफ क्वेश्चंस दैट दे आस्क. पल्लवास ऑफ कांची, आर्ट एंड कल्चर, साउथ इंडिया. सो 3 layers of qualification, 3 layers of knowledge are needed to answer the question. और इसका जो बेसिक कंटेंट है वो जानने के लिए मुझे पता होना चाहिए क्या आर्ट एंड कल्चर के कॉन्ट्रीब्यूशंस थे, क्या आर्ट एंड कल्चर था पहली बात. तो उसके बाद मुझे ये पता होना चाहिए व्हाई वाज इट डिफरेंट, और साउथ इंडिया में क्या इंपैक्ट हुआ उसका. मुझे ये भी पता होना चाहिए कि जो कॉन्ट्रीब्यूशन वर्ड है इसको डिकोड करके क्या निकलना चाहिए. व्हाट शुड बी माई फ्रेमवर्क फॉर डिफाइनिंग कॉन्ट्रीब्यूशन व्हेन इट कम्स टू आर्ट एंड कल्चर, व्हेन इट कम्स टू आर्किटेक्चर एंड व्हेन इट कम्स टू द चोलास. How do you define contribution in art and culture? क्या क्या होते हैं उसके contributions? क्या कोई framework है? Is there a framework that I need to know? क्योंकि ये the pattern of the question is very clear. Art and culture में you will find not only in art and culture in ancient India, but more so in art and culture you will find that there is a deep emphasis on impact. Impact का theme, recurring theme है. जब आप ancient India की बात करते हो, ancient, medieval, modern एरास का कंपैरिजन इज वन ऑफ द कॉमन थीम. बहुत सारे कॉमन थीम्स है, बट अगर मुझे एग्जाम देना है, मुझे ये एग्जाम क्लियर करना है, मुझे इसमें बहुत अच्छे मार्क्स चाहिए, मुझे टॉप करना है, मुझे हैक करना है इसको. माय जॉब एज यूपीसी एस्पिरेंट इज टू अंडरस्टैंड, लर्न इनफ टू हैक, टू बी एबल टू हैक दिस, क्वालिफाई टू द इंटरव्यू, गेट थ्रू द इंटरव्यू, गेट इन द फाइनल रैंक, एंड दिस होल थिंग वंस एंड फॉर ऑल. ये मेरा अगर ऑब्जेक्टिव है तो मैं इमीडिएटली एक हैकिंग माइंडसेट में आके यही फंडामेंटल क्वेश्चंस पूछना स्टार्ट कर दूंगा. आई विल आस्क दीज क्वेश्चंस. व्हाट आर द क्वेश्चंस आई विल आस्क. मैं पूछूंगा ये जानने के लिए मेरे पास बेयर मिनिमम अमाउंट ऑफ इंफॉर्मेशन क्या है. मैं पूछूंगा इस टाइप के और क्या क्वेश्चन आ सकते हैं, क्या कोई फ्रेमवर्क्स हैं जो मैं उनमें भी डिप्लॉय कर सकता हूं, क्या इंपैक्ट या सिग्निफिकेंस या कंट्रीब्यूशन का कोई फ्रेमवर्क है जो आर्ट एंड कल्चर में हर क्वेश्चन में लग जाएगा, क्या कुछ ऐसे कॉमन प्रॉब्लम्स या कुछ ऐसे कॉमन सोल्यूशंस हैं जो हर जगह फिट हो सकती हैं, क्या मुझे कोई ये सब रिसर्च करके बता सकता है, क्या कोई चैट जीपीटी में ये सब डाल के पैटर्न्स एक्सट्रैक्ट करके मुझे सिखा सकता है. दैट इज द क्वेश्चन आई वुड आस्क. क्या मेरा टाइम बच सकता है. मुझे इस चीज की एक एडमिशन जरूर होगी कि मैं सब कुछ नहीं पढ़ पाऊंगा. आई विल नॉट बी एबल टू रीड एवरीथिंग. द मोर आई गो डीपर इनटू इट, द मोर आई रियलाइज इट, एंड दैट इज व्हाट यू विल रियलाइज जब आप प्रीवियस ईयर के क्वेश्चंस देखोगे. What am I doing here essentially? What are the 3 things I need to know? Let's be very real and very honest and very frank about it. 3 चीजें हैं जो मुझे चाहिए इस पेपर को क्लियर करने के लिए बहुत अच्छे मार्क्स के साथ. बहुत अच्छे मार्क्स आते नहीं है. नॉर्मली यू गेट 45%, 50%, एंड 50% के ऊपर तो इट इज कंसिडर्ड वेरी गुड. आपकी अच्छी खासी रैंक आने की प्रोबेबिलिटी हो जाती है, बट ये पेपर की डिफिकल्टी लेवल बहुत ज्यादा है. द डिफिकल्टी लेवल एंड द अमाउंट ऑफ द टाइप ऑफ कंटेंट दे डिजायर इज वेरी हार्ड. Various reasons why it is hard, but let us not get into the reasons. Let us talk about these three things. KTW, knowledge, thinking, writing. 3 चीजों की जरूरत है मुझे वो बेसिक कंटेंट पता होना चाहिए जिसके आसपास मैं एक आंसर क्राफ्ट कर सकता हूं. सेकंड, मेरे पास कुछ थिंकिंग ड्रिल होने चाहिए, कुछ थिंकिंग टूल्स या फ्रेमवर्क्स होने चाहिए जो मैं कहीं से भी लेके डिप्लॉय कर सकता हूं मल्टीपल जगहों पे. अगर मुझे इसका एग्जैक्ट आंसर नहीं पता है, क्योंकि व्हाट इज द प्रोबेबिलिटी दैट इन माय रीडिंग ऑफ हिस्ट्री आई वुड हैव कम अक्रॉस this passage with enough points to be able to write 150 or 250 words on the exact particular contribution of the Cholas in the architecture of southern India. I may have some information. I may have know a name of a few temples, and they may have been great wonders, and that they may have been exported to Southeast Asia. I know all these things a little bit, but I don't know exactly what the answer is. That will be my situation for almost all questions in Mains, almost all, but not all. In any case, even if I know the content, I will have to frame it because they don't make it easy. The questions they ask will be two-part. Many questions you will see two-part questions. Sometimes they will ask direct definitions. Let me give you an example. They ask, for instance, in society. Society is one of the topics in GS1. Doesn't particularly fall in any in economy or in polity as such. Society. What is demographic winter? Do you think India is at risk of this phenomenon? This is a clear definition-based question. Difficult question. Demographic winter pata hona chahiye. You can guess at it a little bit, but you still would need some definitions. So, from subject to subject, from history to society, the type of content I need is different. थोड़ा different है. एक और example देता हूं आपको मैं history का, sorry, society का. Question कहता है demographic, gender equality, gender equity और gender empowerment में क्या फर्क है? What is the difference between gender equality, gender equity and gender empowerment? And then there is a follow-up question, a second part, 150 या 250 वर्ड का एक क्वेश्चन था जो लास्ट टाइम पूछा गया था. इसमें डेफिनेशन भी है, इसमें कुछ एनालिसिस भी है. दिस मेक्स माय लाइफ अ लिटिल बिट हार्ड. इट डजंट हेल्प मी. आई नीड टू फिगर आउट द डेफिनेशंस. बट देन द क्वेश्चन इज, इतने सारे डिविजन्स हैं, इकोनॉमी, पॉलिटी, साइंस टेक, डिजास्टर मैनेजमेंट. Then inside polity also there is governance, society, geography, history of the world, and क्या पढ़ूंगा मैं? What all will I have to go through? I will obviously have some knowledge from prelims, but I will not be able to go through every government report. I will not be able to go through the whole thing, right? So I need to find some sort of a hack, and I need multiple hacks. I need somebody to come and tell me कि ये 16 सब्जेक्ट हैं, essentially themes हैं, सोसाइटी, पॉलिटी, इकोनॉमी, साइंस टेक वगैरह. ये 16 हैं मेंस में जो आएंगे GS 1 2 3 में. इस थीम के one particular theme for instance सोसाइटी कैन बी taught in this way where उसकी bare minimum content आपको सिखा दी जाए, आपको बता दी जाए कि ये आएगा. This is the type of question that can be asked. For instance, definitions may be asked. So therefore, here is a list of definitions. It's a very short list. ये याद करने हैं आपको. You remember these because they might be asked, and even if they're not asked, they can be deployed and they can be used. Gender equality, gender equity, gender empowerment are all important definitions in any case. You should know them, right? So I would need to know the basic content of it. I would need to know what I need to think about when I receive the question. क्या मैं क्वेश्चन को डायसेक्ट कर पाता हूँ? क्या मैं क्वेश्चन के तय पे पहुंच पाता हूँ? क्या मेरे आंसर का स्ट्रक्चर डज इट मैच व्हाट द क्वेश्चन नीड्स? क्या ऐसे फ्रेमवर्क्स हैं मेरे माइंड में जिनको मैं डिप्लॉय कर सकता हूँ? क्या ऐसे सजेशंस ऑलरेडी हैं मेरे पास? क्या मेरे पास ऐसे कुछ कोटेशंस हैं? क्या मेरे पास ऐसे केस लॉज हैं जो बहुत जगह लगते हैं? क्या ऐसी सब्जेक्ट स्पेसिफिक लैंग्वेज है? फॉर इंस्टेंस, द सब्जेक्ट स्पेसिफिक लैंग्वेज of geography changes considerably when you talk about economics. There is a certain lingo, there is a certain vocabulary, academic vocabulary for each subject. और जिस टाइप के क्वेश्चन और आंसर हमारे से एक्सपेक्टेड हैं, जिस टाइप के क्वेश्चन पूछे जाते हैं, are highly academic and highly analytical both, not necessarily theoretical. Academic, yes. अब पब्लिक एडमिनिस्ट्रेशन टाइप के क्वेश्चन अगर आप देखो, पब्लिक एडमिनिस्ट्रेशन इन टर्म्स ऑफ गवर्नेंस, आप देखो सेकेंड ईयर की रिपोर्ट पढ़ो, इंडियन IIPA का कोई आर्टिकल पढ़ो, जिस टाइप की लैंग्वेज उसमें लिखी है उस टाइप की लैंग्वेज वो चाहते हैं कि आप लिखो गवर्नेंस में, बट दैट लैंग्वेज हैज टू बी पिक्ड अप एंड कंज्यूम्ड. आई डोंट हैव द टाइम to pick up all these languages, all these different subjects and all this different vocabulary. I need to be taught, and I need a shortcut sort of thing. If not a shortcut, then a short roadmap at least. Somebody take me through the real content, somebody tell me all the frameworks I need to know, and somebody then quickly make me write. Somebody make me write all this stuff so that when I do it, I know what I do and my muscle memory is trained. When I go into the exam, the question comes, I'm quickly able to see, अच्छा ठीक है, this is what I know, इतना ही पता है मुझे, 4 पॉइंट है इसके, इन 4 पॉइंट्स को इस फ्रेमवर्क में डाल के ऐसे लिखना है मुझे. ये मेरी इंट्रोडक्शन होगी, ये मेरी बॉडी होगी, बॉडी में स्ट्रक्चर और द फ्रेमवर्क ऑफ द पॉइंट्स दैट आई एम प्रेजेंटिंग विल बी दिस. मैं एक फ्यूचरिस्टिक एंगल दे सकता हूं यहाँ पर, या मैं एक सोल्यूशन बेस्ड एंगल दे सकता हूं, जो भी मैं दूंगा. दीज आर सम इंपॉर्टेंट linguistic terms, these are some important definitions I know. They may or may not be directly asked, but I can deploy. I know some basic factoids. For instance, the UNDP report, which I know that I can inject in many places. अगर women पे क्वेश्चन आया, जो कि आएगा, अगर एग्रीकल्चर पे क्वेश्चन आएगा, जो कि आएगा, कोई अनएम्प्लॉयमेंट पे क्वेश्चन आएगा, जो कि आ सकता है, तो मेरे पास वो बेसिक इंफॉर्मेशन, वो फैक्टॉइड्स हैं जहां जो मैं डाल सकता हूँ स्टार्टिंग में, इंट्रोडक्शन में. एटलीस्ट इतनी तैयारी अगर मैं करके जाऊंगा, आई विल हैव अ फेयर चांस टू बीट द कॉम्पिटिशन. बिकॉज आई विल ऑब्वियसली हैव द नॉलेज मोर और लेस सेम ही होगी. जितनी मुझे पता है उससे बहुत ज्यादा हो सकता है किसी को पता हो, बट रेयरली, क्योंकि जीएस में हर किसी के उतने ही मार्क्स आते हैं रफली. दैट इज द केस. एवरीबडी इज एट 40-45%. So it's hard, and now you can see why it's hard. So therefore, if I am going to consider coaching, and I'm not saying that you have to, but if I did, अगर कोई मुझे सिखा रहा होता तो क्या सिखाता? That is why we have created the Mains Sutra program or MSP. No, not minimum support price. The Mains Sutra program is a proper coaching program which will be taught by selected officers, of which I am one. I will teach essay. Everybody else is teaching different subjects. One of them is teaching ethics. So he's a bit senior, and he coaches people, not coaches actually, he lectures people in training academies for ethics, serving officers he lectures. So this is the one of those people who understands what is happening in ethics, what is happening in UPSC, and what's happening in ethics in the government actually. जिस टाइप के हमको गवर्नेंस सेंट्रिक पॉइंट ऑफ व्यू चाहिए, जो यूपीएससी एक्सपेक्ट करती है somehow कि you should have it even before you have become a bureaucrat, which is very difficult. I don't understand how anybody would be able to have that perspective without going into services, which I guess is why there is mentorship and why there are people like me. If I'm going to coach somebody, then I might as well coach them properly. That's the whole point of this program. This is the Mains Sutra program, or the MSP. GS 1 to 3 will be taught by selected officers, and 4 of them will divide 16 subjects. Teach this to you live. Essay, like I said, I will teach. Ethics, another selected officer will teach what to expect from this. From this, you can expect one for every subject of GS1, GS2, GS3. Polity, governance, economy, science, tech, international relations, current affairs, blah, blah, blah. For every subject. We will dissect every subject individually into content, thinking, writing. Teach it to you and then make you write it. We will make you write it. This is a hacker course. This is a no-nonsense hacker course. You don't come here to learn history from scratch. That is not what you should join this for. You should come here, if you know the basics, you need to get to from point A to point B fast. And you need to get there with somebody having to coach you. Do not have the time to pick up all the patterns. Need it fast. Need the patterns for somebody else to be extracted. Need the patterns deployed. Give it to me on a piece of paper. Tell me what are the frameworks. Let me memorize it and then make me practice it. That's why you should come. And that's what you can expect. This is what will happen. I mean, the volume wise, you can expect 90 live classes. 90. Given that you have roughly only 60 days, you can expect 1 or 2 class every day. So it's very intensive. You will be made to do answer writing live. And also, you will be made. When I said thinking, I was talking about content, thinking, and I was talking about writing. Thinking, how do I make you think? How do I coach you to think? How do I teach you this thinking stuff? Because it's not enough, कोई आके आपको अगर बता भी जाए, कोई सिलेक्टेड ऑफिसर आपको बता भी जाए कि ऐसे ऐसे फ्रेमवर्क्स होते हैं, उससे कुछ फर्क नहीं पड़ता है. We don't get from point A to point B. We get from point A to point B only when we practice, only if somebody makes me practice. You drill it down, because if you are talking about 90 live classes, that's 180 hours, 180 घंटे, बहुत 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 बड़ा चंक होता है टाइम का, प्रोडक्टिव टाइम का. 180 घंटे में I need to be writing and doing stuff. I can't just passively be listening, because it is mains. It is muscle memory. I will be writing there. अगर कोई मुझे लिखवा के एक्सरसाइजेस करा के नहीं कर रहा है और मोनोलॉग में मुझे कुछ सिखा रहा है, तो उसका कोई फायदा ज्यादा नहीं होगा. It will not transfer to output in language when I have to write in mains. It will just go inside and some knowledge will accumulate, but the whole cycle has to be completed. The content, the thinking, the writing, that needs completion. How will I coach you for thinking? How do I do that? So all of these selected officers, by the way, the 4 selected officers that I mentioned are all very recently selected officers. पिछले 1 या 2 साल में ही जिन स्टूडेंट्स के रैंक हैं, some of them are actually my own students जो अब IAS IPS बन गए, तो they are going to be helping us and they will be teaching this course, like I said. And when I said thinking, how will I teach you thinking? I'm going to make you do exercises. I will have to make you do drills. We have been having a lot of discussion ki drills karani kaise, what are the drills? We will extract all the frameworks for you. All those the super mentor will do, the selected aspirants, the selected teachers who will be teaching you. Sub frameworks extraction and the content extraction and the writing of the live classes, of the live sessions will all be done by them. But also another thing that we will do, talk about bluffing strategies. Yes, we will talk about it. We will most certainly talk about bluffing strategies, which is very much important, very important. So one of the exercises we discussed, we will make you do, is you guess the question. We'll show you some answers. You guess the question. That way, some reverse engineering will happen. Patterns you will be able to understand. We'll teach this to you after we teach you some frameworks. Be the examiner. We'll show you some questions, some answers written by people. You judge how they are and why they are the way they are. You'll learn. You'll have fun also, actually. You'll have a lot of fun in this program because the whole thing is going to be engaging. It's going to be a lecture workshop combined, you might say. Half lecture, half after every 10-15 minutes, make you do some exercise like this. And so therefore, your thinking skills will be developed in situ, in class. That's the point. I don't see the point of finishing the class and then working on it. Optimize the time, get it done, get it over with. Once the class is over, the thinking also should have been over. That's the whole idea. Obviously, you will have live answer writing. They will be live with you. They'll write answers with you, share their screen, show you what they're writing, why they're writing. You will also do the same. This program, I have everything, all the details about this program in the description I have put. You can check it out. Please do check it out. The first time that I'm doing such a program, very extensive. I mean, there is too much detail to share in this one video, but you understand what it is, right? I guess by now I would have made it quite clear how it is being thought about and how vigorously it has been worked out also. You will notice. Now, if you are a repeater, that means you have either written mains before, you have cleared prelims before, or you have appeared in the interview, whatever. If you are a repeater, you will get a 50% scholarship. No questions asked. You will fill a Google form with some basic information and somebody will get back to you. And if you do enroll in this MSP Main Sutra program, you will get 50% off scholarship, no question asked. Like I said, the link is in the description. I had started this video by saying that what would I do if I was in this? So I am really actually have to put myself in the situation again and again and realize what we are. After a lot of extensive discussion, every time we speak about this, every time we come away with one outcome only. जितने भी selected officers हैं जो इसमें पढ़ा रहे हैं, जितने भी selected officers हैं, जितने भी students हैं जिनको मैंने देखा है मेंस क्लियर होते हुए, सब लोग यही कर रहे होते हैं essentially. But it is not systematic. It's not systematic. It has not been organized. And also, doing it yourself, consuming it yourself, and teaching it to somebody else, a completely different story. Can somebody teach me so I don't have to do that 1.5 year of regretful study the whole cycle long, so that I can teach and understand the patterns? So that is the whole point. The benefit of the hindsight, the hacker mindset, the exposure to selected people, everything else that I mentioned is the reason why it should be considered. It is not for absolute beginners though. It is not for absolute beginners. Who is it for? हमने जितने भी calculations करे, जितने भी analysis, जितनी भी assumptions जिसके ऊपर बेस करा, उसका जो assumption है वो ये है कि हमारा स्टूडेंट एक ऐसा स्टूडेंट है, एक ऐसा एस्पिरेंट है जो प्रीलिम्स दे चुका है और वो उम्मीद करता है कि उसका मेंस लिखेगा, उसका प्रीलिम्स क्लियर होगा. हो सकता है कि उसने मेंस लिखा हो तो उसका एक सर्टन बेसिक लेवल ऑफ इंफॉर्मेशन है, उसने एनसीईआरटीज पढ़ी हुई हैं, वो प्रीलिम्स फेस कर चुका है ऑब्वियसली. अगर वो भी नहीं है, if you have not even done that, then I do not think this program will be very useful for you. especially the GS part, although essay and ethics though will be, because that starts from scratch, but GS builds on GS. So that, of course, you will have to have some background, but apart from that, everything else will be taken care of. Every detail you have you will be able to find in the descriptions. And that is what I wanted to tell you about. What mains is, how I will deal with it, what I have done about it as far as a program is concerned, and as far as coaching other people is concerned. Very proud of the whole thing, but it's not over yet. There's no relaxing. We will push it hard, and we will expect the outcome of this should be that a disproportionate number of people should be selected in the interview. They should get disproportionate marks, and that disproportionality should be reflected after the result. So such that you are able to show that so many people who did this gained so much advantage over everybody else who did whatever they did. That is the stated outcome, which will determine success, and we will do it. That is what the whole thing is about. Therefore, thank you and all the best, and I will see you next time.